Imagine this, you make a video being critical towards someone, then you get little kids spurging out in your comments going on about how you're a hater, or something similar. Well, that is the GoAnimate community for you. This document is about one of those little kids spurging out in the comments, that being Screwball. While you may ask why I am making an entire document on this person, and that is because of the shit that went down after Arksky made a video criticizing Foxy. Otherwise, I wouldn't even be making this document because all of these spurgs are the same spurgs making generic and bad content. As you already know, Screwball was introduced to Arksky's content when he made a video shitting on Foxy for how her content is basically theft. Screwball went on to make a video full of bullshit and retarded arguments, but that video would be mentioned later in the document for consistency with the layout. Arksky made like 2 videos about Foxy, with the second one gaining enough traction for Screwball to find out about the video, causing him to spurg out about how Arksky is mean and how him not liking Foxy hurt his fifis. He made a shitty video whining about how Arksky is the big bad when in all reality, while you could argue that he was a dick, he at the very least gave actual criticism towards Foxy. And because Foxy is a degenerate and doesn't deserve any sort of respect when being talked about. Not even a minute in the video and he is already making the argument that the shit about Foxy was completely fabricated. And I don't even need to state why this point is retarded, but I will anyway. Foxy has basically proved herself that she would post the nudes of a child on the public internet to humiliate them, and she has done other degenerate shit before, so it is safe to say that she has done shit like this time and time again. The next point I want to mention is where he states that Arksky's point about Foxy stealing content is ass because it took him at least a minute to get to the point. Meanwhile, Foxy does the exact same thing countless of times and Screwball doesn't even care and most likely praises Foxy for nothing. About that little rebuttal nearing the end of the first minute where Screwball claims that Foxy gives out reasons to why she hates people online, if you consider calling little children dumbass for not bowing down to your every move as giving out reasons to why someone is wrong, that is sad. Immediately after that last point, Arksky states that whenever something bad about Foxy comes up, that Foxy cries slander, leading to Screwball whining and moral grandstanding about how Foxy is the one in the right and how libel is illegal, while also defending a pedophile at the exact same time. Nice to know his priorities are completely fucked. What's amazing about Screwball's stance on fair use is that it is a completely and utterly backward one at that. Simply crediting a creator in the description isn't enough to count as fair use, and you should already know this with how much you like to paint yourself as a smart individual when you say this shit, and this is ironic since you struck down a video that fell under your standards of fair use. Arksky goes on to explain in detail why Foxy's argument about her shit content being fair use, only for Screwball to shut it down and skip that segment, perhaps because he knows he can't actually make a decent argument against Arksky? After a bit of projection in the form of assuming that by Arksky's logic of Foxy's content being fucking theft, that Arksky is a thief and shit, we get to the point that destroyed Screwball's entire video. He assumes that the video was made because Arksky dislikes Foxy, which is funny when you consider that Screwball most likely made this video because Arksky made a critical video on Foxy, and because we know that this shit for brains intellectual thinks that Foxy is a wholly divine being that can do no wrong, that Arksky must be punished for the horrible crime of criticizing a pedophile. And that is pretty much all that I wanted to cover in this video. And to summarize, this video is what happens when you spend more time spurging out than actually making arguments. This video was so bad that it ironically didn't transform the content enough to even be considered fair use. Striked. After the strike came through, a bunch of shit went down. Arksky made a live stream for the sake of the funny, and Screwball made a shitty video virtue signaling about falsely striking down videos, but more on the latter later, as I want to focus on the former for now. The live stream was really only Arksky playing Wii Sports Resort without a microphone throughout it, but since Screwball made the video virtue signaling about false copyright strikes, there were some kids coming into the stream to exclusively spurg out in the live chat. Screwball realized the stream and came in to say some bullshit, comparing Arksky to who I think is Elias D., who is a bad person basically and a no words. The entire conversation turned to how Screwball was sending a counterclaim against Arkski for the video being struck down, which is funny when you realize that Arkski hasn't actually received anything in his inbox, not even 2 weeks after the 6th of May, meaning that Screwball is full of shit. Nothing of note happened throughout the stream. It was mostly just Screwball reiterating that his video was totally fair and that Arkski is the big baddie. But there was something disturbing that he said just 33 minutes into the stream. This is where he assumes that I was directly involved in the striking of his video, which is bullshit when you realize that I don't have access to the Arkski 123 account. I am inside of Canada while Arkski is inside of the USA, and that I had no hand in making Arkski's original video on Foxy. After a few more minutes of spurging, he proceeded to start trolling the chat in a pathetic attempt to make everything he did seem like a bit, but I saw right through this the moment he started rage baiting. The video response by Screwball turned out to be really funny, because this fool actually thinks that Arkski is one of those bootlickers that suck the cock of big-ass corporations while Screwball's entire channel is just sucking off Foxy. All jokes aside, this response was basically just, "Herder, my video was fair use," and, "Herder, I'm gonna tell the teacher YouTube about this." When? If an entire video of someone else's content with clips of you calling little children brain-dead retards was considered fair use, then Arkski wouldn't even be doing this. YouTube is a corporation that doesn't give a shit about the people on the platform. Begging them to remove the strike isn't going to do anything except generate a bot response. Also, point invalidated. You struck down a video giving you criticism and refused to respond when the person sent you emails. You have no room to talk about Arkski giving you a false copyright strike. Arkski made a video with me and a few others where we just laugh at Foxy and her shitty content, which led to Screwball making a comment merely stating that he was going to make a commentary video on the entirety of the video. And then after that a video was set as a premiere which went up on 21st. This commentary video was fucking awful, and I just want to debunk every stupid little thing this special creature has said throughout the commentary. Not even 30 seconds into the video and there is already something very wrong with the video. What he is going off of is the auto-generated captions generated by artificial intelligence either because he knows they are inaccurate, and he wants an easy way out when responding, or because he is so scared of having to spend 10 minutes making an alternative account if he were to get terminated. Neither makes his arguments look good. The first point he makes is that he mentions how Arkski sent him a false copyright strike under the pretense that his video was fair use via criticism, when almost anyone can debunk that by saying that his original video wasn't even trying to critique Arkski's arguments in any way, and was just him spurging out over Arkski not liking Foxy or something. Also, this point is fucking laughable when you consider that this tard struck down a video that by his logic would have also been fair use, so it is a false strike when it happens to him, but he can freely strike down anything he wants even if his reasons are fucking retarded? Nice to know. The second point is another nothing burger, which is about him accusing Arkski of calling about 4 people slurs, when he said fuckwads, in a playful way and not in a way meant to demean anyone, aside from Foxy, that is. This is what I mean by the auto-generated captions not being accurate. These people can pretty much manifest this type of information out of thin air thanks to these captions, and people will just take their word for it since they can't think for themselves. Even if he said slurs instead of fuckwads, would you be any better than him when you commented on one of his posts with only the rainbow emoji? People can easily see this as you ironically being homophobic yourself, since this can be seen as you calling Arkski gay. He is actually bisexual, but whatever. Not even a minute and a half in, and we already get to him defending degenerates, which in this case is him shitting himself over the fact that me and a blue top had both called Foxy a pedo, which is funny since there's a boatload of evidence towards Foxy being a fucking creep. Screwball myself. Yet these morons always just turn a blind eye to it because they actually believe the predators over the general public. Screwball is an enabler, and an incredibly suspicious fuck. The fact that Screwball would go after Vinny for doing the same thing that Foxy did yet defend Foxy for the exact same thing tells me that his priorities depend on who he likes or dislikes. Doesn't matter if they did something insanely horrific or not. At around 2:41 this loser actually thinks that Arkski started everything with Screwball. I know he is talking about himself and not Foxy. When this little idiot made a video unprovoked just shitting on Arkski for not liking Foxy. Seriously though. Why would we feel the need to leave you alone? When you instigated shit and started crying when we responded, you can't just make a video accusing someone of being a brain-dead retard who doesn't know what fair use means and expect them to just lie down and be okay with it. As an addendum to the point where he bitched and shit his pants over Arkski taking down his video, he actually thinks that Arkski is a copyright abuser and that Foxy isn't when just a day earlier, if not the same exact day as this piece of shit came out, did Screwball unjustifiably copyright strike a video giving him criticism. The final point of part 1 that I want to address in this document is when Arkski said that he hates Foxy's voice while I mock Foxy's voice in the background. The entire point about the voice chat being unreasonable about making fun of Foxy for her voice is another attempt at virtue signaling. We all know damn well that if this was anyone else, Screwball would probably be laughing with us. He wouldn't be crying about us being mean to a degenerate while actively calling Arkski a brain-dead retard throughout the entire video. That was the entirety of part 1. And you can tell because he couldn't even be bothered to go past the 3-minute mark of the video without having to make us wait for a video that definitely was created within just 1 hour maximum of the first part being made. His arguments were also such nothing burgers and shows that he only made this video with the intent of damage controlling for a pedophile instead of it being a video debunking the entire 56-minute video, which you cannot because all 5 of us were speaking facts. Part 2 is a special case here, because despite the fact that this dude refuses to respond to me directly, he actually responded to one of my points in the video, albeit without naming names and acting like Arkski said it, but it is still a response nonetheless, and that will be debunked later. First things first, there is yet again already something wrong with this video, and we aren't even at the 30-second mark for God's sake. This creature goes on to cry about how Arkski made fun of the fact that Foxy can't go even 10 seconds without snorting, even though later down in this video this moron would go on to say something even worse than what Arkski said. It's funny how Screwball claims that Arkski didn't even watch any of her videos, when Screwball hasn't even made it to the 3-minute mark of Arkski's video without either taking things out of context or manifesting damning information about Arkski out of thin air. I don't even need to reiterate that Foxy's shit content is the exact same as that React World thing that you probably hate due to them trying to trademark reaction content, but even worse and with lower budget. Also, he reiterates that same point about how Arkski didn't watch shit mere seconds after each time he states the point despite Screwball doing the exact same thing because this guy is that much of a tool. Remember when Screwball stated that he wasn't going to mention Arkski by name? Yeah, he actually gave up on that by stating his name while going on about some random tangent about how he doesn't want him to get married or some shit like that even matters. And the point about him not wanting any of us to reproduce is arguably worse than our point about Foxy snorting like a fat disgusting pig when you really think about it. Like, just think about it, is this guy really any better than the people he tries to debunk? And during a point where he reiterates his rebuttal from earlier, he essentially stated that it is sad that Arkski is a troll. Which is funny when you realize that this clown is ignoring me calling me a troll, yet making whole-ass videos calling out Arkski whilst calling him a troll, maybe because I am the absolute harshest critic this guy ever received. I mean, look at this entire document. While Arkski is someone who made a small amount of videos and comments debunking him and Foxy's degenerate lies. What is also laughable is the point he made about how Foxy has talent, and we are all talentless hacks and man-children when we are literal children ourselves. Out of the 5 in the VC, I was probably the oldest next to Kuro Aenix. And also because anyone could make something even slightly better than the brain-dead slop that Foxy produces. And here are some examples. Arkski is able to make geometry dash levels of reasonable quality, or better. Not to mention actually being very good at the game. A blue top hat is pretty good at Team Fortress 2. Murasaka can make art of reasonable quality or better. Kuro Anix makes some damn good Mugen characters. I have made content that easily surpasses the quality of Foxy's videos, and I am not even an adult yet. What does Foxy do? She literally just sits her fat ass down on her couch, finds a bunch of videos to blankly stare at, she records herself blankly staring at the video, uploads it, and then barely profits with like 5 views or so within the first 48 hours of being uploaded. So no, we are not talentless hacks without a brain. We just have things called brain cells, and they obviously function better than yours do. Also remember during the beginning of this section when I mentioned that he unintentionally responded to me whilst calling me a mean old troll, probably because his ass knows he can't win against me. This is that point where he directly responds to me as if I was Arksky and not this Pika guy. My entire point was about how the artwork that was made for Foxy wasn't actually made by Foxy but one of her fans. And I go on to explain how disappointed I am in my old friend group for going on to defend and decried a pedophile despite them presenting themselves as morally sound people. Everyone in the group DM that I was in with, including me, turned out to be no better than the people we made fun of and argued. His response is that I am a dumbass and that I should get in trouble with something that he doesn't specify, which is laughable when you realize that this clown went against his own logic yet again when he assumed that I was a mean old troll that should be ignored and left to rot. When he said that I shouldn't be responded to? Another thing to note is that he hid me from his channel, so I can't explain the entirety of my point about that little friend group nor debunk anything said in his videos. So let's add that onto the list of reasons why he is a spineless asshole willing to defend the worst of the worst. Notice how Screwball skipped everything from the part where I stated that I am disappointed with my former friends to about 11:50 in the video. That is purely because we showed undeniable evidence of Foxy being a sick and depraved creature, and knowing this clown. It is a safe bet that he knew he couldn't defend or excuse what Foxy did and said she would do, so he decided to skip the entire section without telling the viewers in the hopes that no one would notice and that all of us would look unreasonable. Add that onto the list. In a weird way at discrediting, this creature thinks that Arksky's content is worse than Foxy's content on the basis that he doesn't edit, when in that case Arksky and Foxy would both be the exact same, not having to mention that Arksky uses OBS and tries to actually, commentate on whatever he is talking about, while Foxy uses Mobazin and she can't even string a sentence together half of the time. After name-dropping Arksky for the second time, the video ends, and good God, was this such a sad, pathetic attempt at deflecting. Part 3 opens up similarly to Part 2, with the same exact shit not even 20 seconds into the video. This loon responds to my point about how Foxy hates me because I called her a pedophile by directly threatening me. Yes, I know he was talking to Arksky by name, but he is responding to my argument, so he is technically threatening my life over substantial pedophile accusations. Screwball proceeds to respond to the point by Arksky that Foxy deserves to be criticized by also threatening him instead of actually refuting his point. The greatest thing about the point around 120 is that it is ironically not Arksky's fault that the captions are fucking atrocious. Like seriously, if you are gonna get on people's asses for saying shit like how suicide baiting is somehow others' faults, and shit, then you shouldn't be assuming. Where 4 people were talking over each other constantly, especially with the low intelligence of Foxy's fanbase. The video proceeds to be just the captions for a humorously long period while diarrhea sounds play in the background as if any of that matters. This goes on for a good while, so consistency. Finally, during a point where I argue that while there is no definitive proof of her abusing her dogs, I wouldn't be surprised if she turned out to be an animal abuser, Screwball cuts my point off and ends the video telling me and Arksky to fuck off. Remember when he said he was ignoring me? Part 3 turned out to be the absolute worst part of this trilogy. There were no rebuttals at all, only basic death threats and little else. The fact that over the course of 1 to 2 weeks this guy could only get through 16 minutes of a 56-minute video, that is how much of a useless tool this guy was. Also, since I feel the need to rectify the brain damage you may have gotten from having to look at someone as retarded as Screwball, here is an image of Piglet to rectify the problem. Overall, this moron knows that we are right and doesn't like it, so to humble him I will tally up some of his retard moments. Denying that there is evidence to Foxy's pedophilia, x5. Double standards, x17. Demonic priorities, x6. Blatant withholding of information, x3. Spurging, x13. Enabling pedophilia and the abuse of children. Lying and censoring the truth. Completely being blind to reality. I don't ever want to see you pull that type of dishonest shit ever again. I don't ever want to see you threaten people I know and threaten me directly over the fact that we made fun of a pedophile, while being absolutely no better than anyone you have covered. People like this are why cyberbullying is a necessary evil in life. These people hate me and Arksky so much that they will side with predators and their enablers because they all share a hatred of us. If these people were to not have shitty morals, they would have no morals whatsoever. Screwball can censor me, call me a dumbass, and threaten me because I made fun of a pedophile, because how dare I be mean to someone who abuses children? But hey, this dude was so scared of me that he hid me from his channel and stopped responding me under the guise that I am a troll. And now the dude who spends his money on Winnie the Pooh talking plushies made an entire document debunking him, plays stupid games, wins stupid prizes. I hope you enjoy Screwball. Credit to Mr. Blocky, since this entire ending script is mostly just paraphrasing him, since Jared Griffiths is almost the same as Screwball, so this worked better. The last thing I want to say directly to this waste of oxygen and flesh is this, and this.